बोले गणपति भगवान की जय। भवानी शंकर भगवान की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। श्री गोविंद भगवान की जय। श्री गुरुदेवेभ्यो नमः। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्तजम्बो फलचारुभक्षणं उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजं। सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। नारायणी नमोस्तुते। हे दीन बंधु दयाल शंकर जानी जन अपनाइयो। हे दीन बंधु दयाल शंकर जानी जन अपनाइयो। भवसागर पार उतार मोको सागर पार उतार मोको निज समीप बसाइयो। जाने अजाने पाप में रोहे नाथ श्रानहीन साइयों। जाने अजाने पाप में रोहे नाथ श्रानहीन साइयों। कर जोरी जोर निहोज मांगहु जोर जोर देव दर्श दिखाइयो। हे दीन बंधु दयाल शंकर देवी सहाय सुनाय शिव जी प्रेम सहित जो गावहीं। देवी देवी सहाय सुनाए शिव जी प्रेम सहित जो गावहीं। छुट जावोही जग जोनि से छुट जावोही जग जोनि से। सर्वदा सुख पावही। हे दीन बंधु दयाल शंकर हे दीन बंधु दयाल शंकर जानी जन अपनाइयो। भवसागर पार उतार बसाइयो हे दीन बंधु दयाल शंकर, दीन बंधु दयाल शंकर, हे दीन बंधु दयाल शंकर। बोले शिव शंकर भगवान की जय। Namaskar everyone, my pranam to you, and on behalf of Bhavani Shankar Mandir, all our volunteers, all our servants, all our dedicated people, lovers of our community, and on behalf of my family, and certainly on behalf of our two Panditjis, Pandit Ram Prasad ji, Pandit Rajneesh ji, we welcome all of you to 96 night number 96 of Shanti Satsangh. And I hope and pray that you all had a blissful day. It is such a beautiful day here, at least in this part where we live in Brampton. I've seen so many pictures today of family and friends on social media. You know, having a great time. It is so nice to see families, you know, coming back together and just, you know, breaking some barriers, opening up the boundaries a little bit. But whatever we do, let us be safe in the process of celebrating. So welcome to Shanti Satsangh, and to all of you joining from wherever you do, I hope and pray that you are happy, you're in bliss, and that you're safe. What matters in life, my friends, is life itself. This is all that matters. What matters in life is life. Everything else will happen. Everything else can happen. Everything else that we see as opportunities lost, or you know, things we could have, or you know, should have done, you know, all those things will come back as long as there is life. And that is why the few folks who are close around me, they will know that for me, what matters in this life is this life, because without this, my friends, nothing ever can be achieved. Without life, the sunshine means very little, or it means nothing to us. Without life, my friends, our families mean nothing to us. Without life, celebration means nothing to us. Without life, Shanti means nothing to us. Without life, my friends, you know, without life, life will never be enjoyed. One time, Murari Bapu was discussing Ramayana one time, and he is a very passionate, you know, orator of Ramayana. He's a very passionate speaker. He's been doing it all his life. And I heard him saying one time that he was talking about life and Bhagwan. And he compared, he said, without life, this Bhagwan and this achievement that Bhagwan has blessed us with, without life, even that cannot be experienced. And he talked about Raja Dashrath. As Raja Dashrath was going in his, you know, that stage of life, and he did not have any heir to his kingdom, he saw the gray. He had children, but he could not have seen the work of his children. He saw them at a certain stage, you know, as they grew to be young men and they got married. But after that, he never saw Bhagwan Ram being crowned as the king. He did not have the life, because that which he loves the most, that which he loved the most in his life was the cause of his death. And that is why we have to love in life. We have to love. We have to express that love in so many ways. But understand that one day, my friends, you know, everything, including that which we have worked for and all that, we have to say goodbye to everything. And that is what we're here for, to prepare for life itself, because living matters the most. This evening, my friends, we'll make it fun. I'll tell you what we'll do this evening. We'll do our opening bhajans and Hanumanji Chalisa and so on. And then, you know, I'll give you a chance to say, hey Panditji, I want to ask you a question. And, you know, you're going to type your questions in. And we can't obviously answer all the questions, because there are so many of you who will type a question. But what we'll do is I will select one that we haven't talked about before, or maybe one that is required, you know, in terms of, you know, removing any confusions in our community. And we will talk about it. I want it to be an interactive session. And keep it light, so that as you sit on your garden outside, today, by the way, we did a lot of gardening. We went to the garden center, myself, Sita, and Bhumika. We got a lot of flowers. We came back, we put new soil, the whole works. Everything done, prepared for Shanti Satsangh. I'll share some pictures with you later. I know many of you are in your deck right now. A lot of people in their conversations. Pranaji, we take you outside. I say, how can you take me outside when I'm in my basement? So they say, no, we took you outside and we're there. Well, you can be wherever you want and just be blissed out. So we're going to do that this evening, where we will get you to type in a couple of questions, anything that you need a clarification on. And we will talk about it. And then we'll discuss, of course. And then at about 8:30 tonight, we'll wrap up and we'll prepare for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is puja at the temple. And I'm hoping now to see more of you at the temple. I'm hoping to see lots of you at the temple because, you don't want me to call you and ask you where you are. Right? You don't want me to call you and ask you where you are. We'll make this evening very casual. So I got a phone call, when was it? Yesterday? Sometime yesterday or something. And it was like, Pandaji, I want to drop off a donation from under. I said, why don't you drop off the donation? He said, oh, Pandaji, COVID's still there. And my question is, do you go to do groceries? There was a silence on the other end. I said, no, do you go to do groceries? He said, Pandaji, yeah, we got to go. Well, Bhavani Shankar Mandir is safer than doing groceries. It is so safe. And the volunteers there will tell you, my friends, you wash your hands before you come into the temple. You walk straight in the temple, somebody opens the door for you, contactless. You go in, you don't have to pull any door, you bow, you sit down in your private chair, your VIP chair, your extra large chair. You get to listen to Satsangh in a very comfortable environment. You pick up your prasad, you put it down, you walk away. No contact, you wear on your mask. And I'm like, people don't do that in the grocery stores, at least the ones that I see. So it is more dangerous to do groceries. And Bramley City Center right now is overflowing, by the way. And anyways, it is just going crazy. Mandir is safer than anywhere that you go. So I hope that you will take some time and come out tomorrow morning at our Sunday morning service, where I hope to see you. If you bring one banana and one orange for Bholenath, is good. And if you don't have that, bring your heart. And if you have nothing, bring your dakshina. You know how it works. So I'm hoping to see you tomorrow morning at the temple. We're not going to have the Havan because a lot of people say they didn't plan enough time and so we will do that some other time. But I hope to see all of you tomorrow morning, or whoever can, at least minimum 60, 70 people. I would like to see. We had 6, 7 since the temple is open. And it is all over the place. I've been talking to our other leaders in the community, and everybody is the same thing. We have 10, 11, 12 people in the temple for our main services. So we'll start slow, but we will get there for sure. So again, tonight's program, we're going to keep it very casual, and you get to type in a question for me. And then we'll talk about it. I'll get to answer some of your questions. If I can't answer, I'll tell you I can't, but we will do our best. So we're going to, I want to thank this evening little girl, Gauri Singh. Gauri is a daughter of our temple. Little Gauri, when she heard that, some time ago that we needed donations for the temple, and so I've never asked prior to this July 1st time. I've never asked. I've never reached out to anybody. As you know, I did not even use any of my lifelines as yet. There are some of my close friends in the community who, in times of need, very rarely I've reached out to them for help for the temple. I didn't even ask any of my, and they know who they are. I didn't even reach out to any of my lifeliners yet because Bholenath is helping us. But little Gauri, she thought that, in times like this, she will, as little as she is, make a contribution. So Gauri, apparently, she took some money from her piggy bank. She took $50 from her piggy bank, And I got a call from her mom saying she wants to donate that to the temple. And mom and dad, of course, matched that amount. And I was very thoughtful of Gauri. Thank you very much, Gauri, for being so thoughtful in this time for us. So big hand for Gauri. And, we know her at the temple, of course, very sweet child. Thank you very much, little one, for remembering us and for thinking of us. And of course, if there's any other little piggy bank out there that you want to break and bring out, you can do that as well. So, as you know, I'm a comedian and I like to make jokes, so please don't take those things very seriously. I'd like to wish a happy birthday as well this evening. We still, of course, we have sponsors for a lot of these evenings. So far, we have gone, I think, 1 or 2 nights without a sponsor. And it's really heartening to see the response. Tomorrow night we don't have a sponsor, but I'm not worried. Bhagwan will send somebody for us now. So happy birthday to Deva Maharaj Balram. This is actually family for me. Happy birthday to Deva Maharaj Balram from your loving mom, Lakshmi, dad, Doshan, sister Amika Devi, and brother Anand. Also from your loving wife, Aliyah, and your son, Zayden. And I'll just read the wish from mom because I got her note. And of course, these things are very special for families. And these folks are my family as well. So, happiest birthday to our loving son, Deva Maharaj Balram. You are a divine treasure who brought so much joy and love to all. Best wishes from your loving mom, Lakshmi, your dad, Doshan, sister Amika Devi, and brother Anand, and your loving wife, Aliyah, and of course, your son, Zayden. May Mata Durga and Bhagwan Shiva's blessings always be upon you in every step of your life. We all love you tons. And that was the message, of course, from the entire family. Happy birthday to you, Deva. It's been a while since I haven't seen you, but I'm sure when things get back to normal, we'll see you and the family again. God bless you, son, and all the best. We will now sing our Hanumanji Chalisa, after which the girls will sing their bhajans, and we'll take some of your questions. I want to hear what is bothering you as a Hindu, what questions you need clarifications on, and we'll make it a very fun evening where it's very interactive, in the sense that I'm talking and you're sending questions. I wish we could have been talking to each other, but we'll make it a bit interactive this evening. All right? Shri Guru Charana Saroj Rajam Nij Man Mukur Sudhar Barno Raghubar Bimal Jasun Jodayak Phalchar Buddhihin Tanu Janike सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश तिन्हु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नाम महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुवेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित हो हाथ भद्र और ध्वजा विराजे कान्हे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन और विद्यावान गुणीयति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहार रामचंद्र के काज सवार लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरहि संभार सहस बदन तुम्हरो यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद सारद सहित अहीश ब्रह्म कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके गाते तुमोपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाए राजपद तुम्हरो विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना, युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, लील्यों ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेहि मुख माहि, जल्दी लांघ गए अचरज नाहि, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे देते। राम तुम्हारे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे, सब सुख रहे तुम्हारे शरण, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज संभालो आपे, तीनों लोक हाथ पे कापे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुना, भय नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा, संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, तासु अमित जीवन फल पावे, चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा है, प्रसिद्धि जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्त न डरहि, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बल। ओ बोलो जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाहि, जो शत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होय, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा, तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेर, की जय नाथ हृदय महादेव, की जय नाथ हृदय महादेव, की जय नाथ हृदय महादेव। पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय में बसहु सुर भूप, सिया भज रामचंद्र की, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। Now Vrinda is going to sing a beautiful old song, शरण में आए हैं हम तुम्हारे, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान। What does song mean? शरण में आए, I have come to your sharan, to your abode, and हे हम तुम्हारे, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान, please show compassion at all times. Vrinda.
शरण में आए हैं हम तुम्हारे, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान। शरण में आए हैं हम तुम्हारे, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान। संभालो बिगड़ी दशा हमारी, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान। संभालो बिगड़ी दशा हमारी, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान।
song. And now Bhumika is going to sing Kahe Sutal Baho, Manwa Japle Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Are, we grew up with this Sita Ram greeting, Ram Ram. These were our favorite things: Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Palagi or Pailagu, Pranam. So Manwa Japle Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Why not? Let us chant Sita Ram and let Bhagwan Sita and Mata Bhagwati Sita and Bhagwan Ram take charge of our systems. Bhumika.
काहे सुतल बाहो, काहे सुतल बाहो, मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। काहे सुतल बाहो, काहे सुतल बाहो, मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। जागे जागे धरती माता, ओ जागे धरती माता। राम भजन बिन सुना जीवन काहे जन्म गवाता, ओ काहे जन्म गवाता। मिट जाए दुख रे सारे पाहे बहुत राम। काहे सुतन बाहो, काहे सुतन बाहो, मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। राम है हमरे तन मन जीवन, राम है हमरे दाता, ओ राम है हमरे दाता। फिर संगी वो राम रमैया और सभी छुट जाता, और सभी छुट जाता। वो है स्वामी जगत रचैया, जिनके सभी गुलाम। काहे सुतल बाहो, काहे सुतल बाहो, मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। जो जागे सो ही सुख पावे, सोवे दुखिया होवे, हो सोवे दुखिया होवे। राम नाम से हो जियारे, जो सुमिरन में होए, हो जो सुमिरन में होए। ओम शरण हो मेरे मनवा, पाए गए सुख नाम। काहे सुतल बाहो, काहे सुतल बाहो, मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। काहे सुतल बाहो, काहे सुतल बाहो, मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम।
बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. And since today is Deva's birthday, before we get into our discussion, let us join together in this beautiful bhajan for Deva. A child whose parents and whose family is extremely very proud of. And today we sing celebrating your birthday and asking and praying for Shri Krishna Bhagwan's blessings. This is my family, of course. Bhaji Doshan and I were actually related by blood. And, earlier when I came to Canada, through other mandars or so, I became connected with the family. And today it is amazing to see the kids grow and, they have children and family and all that. So we want to wish you a happy birthday, Deva, and hope and pray that you had a very blessed day. And find some time, of course, to sit and give appreciation and gratitude with family and friends. While we cannot be in a mandir or be together with so many, we are virtually connected, and we hope and pray that Sri Krishna Bhagwan's blessings be with you as we sing this bhajan for you. Jo tu mitana chahe jeevan ki trishna, subah sham bol bande Krishna Krishna Krishna. Kash, one more. Vasudevasutam devam Kansachanurmardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Planat Klesha Nashaya Shri Govindaya Namo Namah. Jo tu mitana chahe जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन की तृष्णा सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्णा सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्णा जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन की चाहे जीवन की तृष्णा सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्णा सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्णा कृष्ण नाम पावन पावन कृष्ण नाम प्यारा प्यारा जो न बोले कृष्णा कृष्णा जग में वो हारा हारा कृष्ण नाम पावन पावन कृष्ण नाम प्यारा प्यारा जो न बोले कृष्णा कृष्णा जग में वो हारा हारा मन का मिटे अंधियारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा मन का मिटे अंधियारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्णा सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्णा जिसको मिले ना पेरा सुख का मरम क्या जाने जो न ध्याये कृष्णा कृष्णा नित्य का धर्म सा माने जिसको मिले ना पेरा सुख का मरम क्या जाने जो न ध्याये कृष्णा कृष्णा नित्य का धर्म क्या चाहे अगर उजियारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा चाहे अगर उजियारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्णा सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्णा छोड़ दे पतक ना दर दर तोड़ दे अहम का घेरा भूल जा जगत के वैभव जग है दुखों का डेरा छोड़ दे पतक ना धर दर तोड़ दे अहम का घेरा भूल जा जगत के वैभव जग है दुखों का डेरा फिर क्यों ये मारा मारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा फिर क्यों ये मारा मारा Sham Bol Bande, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Subah Sham Bol Bande, Krishna Krishna Krishna. जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन की तृष्णा, जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन की तृष्णा, सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण, सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण, सुबह शाम बोल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण। प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय। Happy birthday, Deva. God bless you and hope you have a blessed evening. And since Gauri actually sent us some piggy bank money, let's sing a little kirtan for Gauri and give thanks because we're grateful for everything. Friends, you know, I make a living because of the work I do outside of temple. But my mandir is my life. Our mandir is our life. And if I don't come to you when I need, then, you know, this running a temple is a reality. It's something that you can't take, there is no relaxation about it. Because the smallest slip you make in this process, you know, things can be leveled. And that's why I have tried to keep our community very close to what we do. And when it is time to tell you, hey, we need to celebrate, we keep them involved. Work needs to be done, cleaning needs to be done, cutting grass needs to be done, wiping needs to be done, volunteers. I'm very open about that stuff. If you come to our temple, you will see on the finance board, you will see exactly how much bills we have to pay every month. We list it out. And the number is a pretty big one. If you visit sometimes, you'll see what it is there. And that is the total we have to meet every month. A lot of businesses, they don't even shoot for that amount. So we're very transparent with this process, and that is why we're very thankful for everyone when you give to some, you know, our temple. The reality is, the funds coming in, you know, it's left on you know, a few persons, and that is why we do this with dignity. I beg with dignity and I ask for dignity because I am a servant of Bhagwan. And so whatever comes in, we are very thankful for it. And we're always very, you know, show gratitude for it. So let's sing a little kirtan for Gauri and give her a little gratitude. Jaya ho Gopalna, Jaya ho Gopalna, Jaya ho Narayana, Jaya ho Narayana, Jaya ho Gopalna, Jaya ho Gopalna, Jaya ho Narayana, Jaya ho Narayana, Jaya ho Janardhana, Jaya ho Janardhana, Jaya ho Niranjana, Jaya ho Niranjana, Jaya ho Gopalna, Jaya ho Gopalna, Jaya ho Narayana, Jaya ho Narayana, Narayana Hari 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 Narayana, Narayana Bhagavan ki jai. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take some questions. So please don't feel shy to type your questions. Send your questions to me. We'll do about a half an hour or so of talking, trying to answer some of your questions. We'll keep it very light so that we have fun. We have a nice interactive session, and so you can learn something as we go through the process. There are so many things that we do as traditions. There are so many things we do out of customs, and many of them make sense. A lot of them, well, actually most of them make sense, but we don't know the meaning behind a lot of them. So we will talk about that today, and try to, the ones that are easy, I'll just tell you yes or no, or, these things. So let's go. First question from Vidya. Actually, no. First question from Shanta Dhanraj. My question, my universal Queen Mother Durga gets criticism. Why people don't worship Kal Bhairav when they do my mother puja and don't eat her prasad? Please explain. So why don't people worship Kal Bhairav? I don't know why people don't worship Kal Bhairav. I can tell you that there's a lot of misinformation about Bhagwan Bhairav. Kal Bhairav is the Lord of Time, and he wears a certain outfit for a certain job. Kal Bhairav was given, the opportunity to protect the Devi in all the sanctums in India. It's another story, but mostly Kal Bhairav is not worshipped because I think most look at his outlook rather than his purpose. We look at his uniform and his appearance more than his purpose. And at the temple, we have always explained who Kal Bhairav is. Devaraja Sevyamana Pavanani Pankajam. And it's a very powerful deity to worship, the Lord of Time, Bhagwan Kal. And why don't people eat her prasad? Well, people do eat her prasad, Mata Durga prasad. So I think there was a time when they didn't because they were told not to, but they do now. Next question, why should married couple pray to Shivaji with Parvati instead of Shiva by himself? Well, that's not so. Married or single people should worship Shiva and Parvati. As I consider myself a Shaiva because I worship Shivji. But you just don't worship Shiva. Without Shiva, there cannot be Shakti, and without Shakti, there cannot be Shiva. So Shivaji alone is, you worship the lingam and so on, but as general worship, Shiva, Karpura Gauram Karana Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namamina. Without Bhavani, there is no Shiva. And without no Shiva, there is no Bhavani. So, single or married, Bhavani, Shankar, they should be worshipped together. Next one, why is full moon more beneficial than new moon? Full moon is not beneficial than new moon. Both of them have different purposes. Indira Prasad. So, can you explain a bit about dhar in the morning in your yard? Why we planted our puja flags? The reason I know is that some devotees pour one and some pour more than one. Thank you. Well, thank you for your contribution for the 100-day satsang. Can you please text me Indira Prasad? So Indira Prasad, why people throw dhar? So the jhanda is a physical form of the divine. Right? Jhanda, the flag, is a physical form of the divine. So you have a Hanuman Jhanda there. Remember the purpose of the Jhanda. There was a time when only Hanuman Jhanda was planted, when the Pandavas put it on the top of Arjun's chariot. There was a time when I was younger, our parents only used to put Hanuman Jhanda, 2 of them. Right? One for Hanumanji, one for Makardhwaj. But these days you have flags for Ganesh Ji, Agni, Vayu, Prithvi flag. I see flags from Mother Prithvi and all these kind of things. You can do whatever flags you want to put. The purpose of putting that flag is a lot of reasons. First and foremost, I think it's for identity. You are identified as a Hindu. Although our behavior is supposed to reflect the Hindu. And so, first and foremost, identity. That flag, when the Pandavas put it on the chariot for protection, The meaning behind it is when we put it in our yard, it is for protection as well. And people grew up throwing dhar on the flag itself when we were younger and so on. We had a Shivlingam outside and so on. So it's literally worshipping the flag or worshipping the deity, literally worshipping Hanumanji when you throw the dhar. So kush grass, Auntie Leela. Panji, what is significance in puja? Is it in the same as kausa grass? So, kush grass, kushmale stito brahma, kushmadde janadhanam, kushagre shankaro devanam, kushaglam namostate. So kush grass is the king of all the grasses. Kush grass is a long straight one, right? So that one, kushmale stito brahma, that's a very powerful and a meaningful grass. It is not only used in Shrad. The kush grass, as a matter of fact, is used to make the pavitri or the ring for any puja that you do. When you do puja, the Panditji puts a ring on your finger. Now, that ring is made with the grass because it has a certain connection to the universe. It draws a certain frequency. But the Vedas tells us, kush mule stito brahma, at the root of that grass is Bhagwan Brahma. Kush madhe janardhanam, madhe means the middle. Bhagwan Janardhan, Bhagwan Vishnu is in the middle. Kushagre shankaro devanam, kushrajan namostute. All the devatas, Shivji is on the top. And all the devatas, the energy are present in various parts of the grass. So when we actually sit on the grass itself, it helps with our one-pointed mind. When we use it for the pavitri, the painti as we call it, it allows the frequencies of the world, to influence you. Very meaningful, is the king of all grasses. Kavita DC. When doing puja, is it necessary to offer a cloth? It's not necessary to offer a cloth in puja. You can offer, though. People offer dhoti for Shivji and they ended up giving the Brahmins and things like that. But if you don't have, it is not necessary. I think Deepasad means Gautam Buddha. So Gautam Buddha is an incarnation of Bhagwan Narayana. He's not an Asian god. He is Narayan himself, the ninth incarnation of Bhagwan Narayana. However, his practices and teachings more so are embraced by Asians because there's where he later moved. Panaji, why people open book before making a house? To see the planets. There are, our Shastras tells us that, it is a science. Jyotishi is a science. It is not a science that is easily understood. It must be studied. And West Indians mostly know Jyotishi or astrology by the common name called open book. So I don't open book, by the way. Do I know how to? Of course I do. It's part of our studies to understand each planet, each of the 27 nakshatras, their behavior with the rashis, their behaviors with the karanas, their behaviors with the tithi, when they merge together, what happened. Of course, you must know that as a pandit. And that is why when functions are fixed and all that, you must fix it in a certain time. But, there is Jyotishi, but there is Bhakti. There is devotional movement, which has erased a lot of the, the powers of the planets because, Krishna Bhagwan, he is everything. When he manifested himself in front of Arjun, you see the planets, you see Agni, you see Vayu, you see Bhairava, everything is in him. So, yeah, people open a book to see if the time is right and so, because Jyotishi is a science, unfortunately abused in these times. Bibi Danraj, I'm a Muslim, can I donate? You mean donate money? If you mean donate money, of course you can donate. I go into our mom is 97. I don't know what that meant, sorry. So why some people plant one flag, why some two flags for Hanumanji? Traditionally, two flags are put up because one is for Hanumanji, one is for Makkar Dwaj. There's a story where his son is actually Makkar Dwaj who looks similarly to him. Let's see, what are the questions we have here? That's it for the questions? Oh. You can send more questions. Or is it my feed not working? Let me see here. My Facebook feed. Okay, yeah. Is leap year a good year to buy a house or buy a car? If you're buying a house or buying a car, if the price is right, that is the right time. Leap year, we have to, start getting away with. We have to start being a little bit more closer to the divine, and when you're close with Him, then be it a leap year or other year, it doesn't matter. You can buy a house or a car in a leap year. That of course doesn't matter. So yeah, some of your questions. A lot of what we do are traditions, and a lot of things have been passed on to us with, and they have a lot of meanings. It's just that they were never explained to us. So I love to answer. I like to meet people, and I like to talk to them about our traditions, our culture, because it is okay to ask a question. And sometimes we're afraid to ask questions because I think the responses we got before. And don't worry about that. Panhar will never treat you like that. I will never, of course, embarrass you. I have never done that for asking a question out of line or whatever it is, because if you don't know, when we say we don't know, that's a huge possibility. When you don't know, it means that you want to know. And I like that. I don't know, you put up your hand. I don't know. So, Sister Leela, is it wrong to bow at the feet of someone who is not a Brahmin, and why? So no, it is not wrong to bow to someone who is not a Brahmin. Bowing to someone has a particular meaning, right? When you bow to someone, you're bowing to their feet, right? Bowing is, I'd say, the most or the highest platform you can give somebody, really, when you bow to them. So when you bow to someone, you literally are telling them, whatever path you have walked, I am also prepared to walk that path. So when you bow to someone, you have to understand their lifestyle. You have to understand what life they're living. Age doesn't matter. Not because somebody is old means you have to bow to them. Bowing, you're giving yourself to someone. That's what bowing is. You're emptying yourself to someone. So, be it a Brahmin or not, if a person carry themselves well, if they live a good life, and if there's something that you can get in forms of blessings or guidance from them, then for sure you can do that. So send in your questions, guys. Don't be afraid. You can send anything you want to send, ask anything you want to ask, and we'll get it. So Vidya, it was an old saying not to keep shell in your home. Please explain. Okay, so it is auspicious to keep a shank in your home. It is very, very auspicious to keep a shank in your home. There are two types of shank. There's a blowing shank, and there is a dhar shank. I wish I had mine here to show you, but the blowing shank, even if you cannot blow it, it is good to keep in your home. And the dhar shank is used, there is a shank that doesn't have a mouth, it has an edge. Kids, can you just bring my shank, my dhar shank, so I can just show the folks. So what it is, look, let's take the blowing shank for example. So the blowing shank is when a shank is blown, the sound of the shank. Actually, before you start the puja, the Panditji rings the bell and blow the shank. There are specific mantras to chant, and so when you do those things, when you blow the shank, you are sending away any form of negative energies. There are times in a puja when a shank is blown. When you're taking the bath of the deity, you blow the shank. When you're doing arti, dhoop and deep, you blow shank. When you're doing prasadam, you blow shank. When you're doing Karpur Aarti, you blow Shank, no other time. Because those are the times when there should be no interference with those divine activities. You can have the Shank in your home as well. A female is not allowed to blow Shank, by the way, for a lot of reasons. But having it there is very auspicious. And then there is the one that you use for dhar as well. If it's a right hand Shank, is very auspicious. That one doesn't have a mouth. So the one without a mouth, you put your ingredients inside and you can throw your dhar on it. So this one here is a right. This one here is a dhar Shank. Thank you, Bhuvan. This is a dhar Shank. So this one here, you can see, you put your ingredients in here. It has no mouth. And the ingredients go in here, and you can do, very appropriate. Look at this. Yep, Shivji is right here. And so you can throw your dhar on the Shivlingam or on a murti, any murti you can use to do this with. It is very auspicious. I'll tell you why it's auspicious. The Shank cannot be contaminated. So when your lota get rusty and you get whatever, if you don't have silver stuff and all that, the Shank does not go impure. And this is a blessing, of course, from Bhagwan Narayana to Shankachu, that this can be used in this lifetime to do an offering. So this is the other one, and this little one here is the one with the mouth. This you can blow and drive away energy. So, of course, very auspicious. In the Devi Bhagavat, when Mahalakshmi came down from the heavens to the ocean, when Narayan Bhagwan went to beg that she come back to the heavens, then Devi, Mahalakshmi says, Narayan, one of the conditions I'll come back to the heavens is that I will ask that in the home that has a Shank, in the home that have a Shaligram, in the home that have a Lingam, in those homes I will live in. It's a very beautiful story. Let's see here. Pandit throwing water in the morning to Surya. I put some dye inside. Can I put sindoor too? I say no. Don't put sindoor in water. Sindoor is not made, or kumkum is not made to go in the water. Sindoor or kumkum is made to go on the forehead, here. Don't put it in the water to offer to Surya. Surya Bhagavan, please throw plain dhar for him. Plain water is good. Don't throw milk and all, drink your milk. Throw the plain dhar for Surya Bhagavan facing east. He Suryo Sahastramsho Tesho Rashi Jagatpati. And so on. So, throw your dhar. If you want to put a leaf of tulsi in there as well, fine with you. So no sindoor. You don't have to put sindoor. It's not recommended. Panditji, why when your husband died and a widow have to wear white and can't wear jewelry? Okay. So this is from Viola Mahadan. The Hindu tradition, it's not that you can't. It's not that you can't. Times the tradition has changed with vidva, with the widows. There was a time when there was a vidva and the husband died, and it was like the pride of the woman has died, right? It's like the pride of the woman has died. There are some parts of the world where, in India especially, where that is preserved to its utmost. It meant that as long as a husband is alive, they can wear bangles, they can dress up and so on. That has changed a lot, where, we believe, our traditions have taught us that a husband completes a wife, and a wife completes a husband. That's how it is. When we are married, like without Sita, I am incomplete. Without me, she is incomplete. Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Without Bhavani, Shiva is incomplete. And without Shiva, Bhavani is incomplete. So when that happens, it is as though a person, and this goes for men as well, if your wife dies, a man is incomplete because, his purpose has been taken away. So that is the tradition. Today it is not upheld in that manner because times have changed with women. Women move forward, and I believe that women's life cannot be stagnant. I do not believe, by the way, that women should hold their lives back because their beloved, their husband has passed away. So I believe they can move on. Is Mahakali the manifestation of Parvati Ma? Yeah, Parvati Mata is the root of all that. Um, Panaji, would there be Shanti Satsang after 4th of July? Mandi Arjun, yes, there will be Shanti Satsang after 1st of July. This is a blazing question in our community. People are not coming to the temple. Any temple you're not going to. So Shanti Satsang, to be very frank with you, Shanti Satsang is the income for the temple right now. And Shanti Satsang is life, is the life and the hope of a lot of people living in their homes. A lot of seniors, a lot of people with sickness who can't come out. Shanti Satsang is hope for them. So we will be in the air after July 1st. Please don't think that we wouldn't, and particularly for that 2 reasons. When do we blow the shank? I think we talked about this earlier. Specifically when you're bathing the deity, when you're artiing, when you do prasad, and when you do karpur arti. So let's see here. If you light a ghee diya every day, I don't understand that question. It is auspicious to light a ghee diya. You can light diyas with different oils for different reasons. Like if you have certain doshas, like Navagraha doshas and things, you can light with, there is something called Panchadipam oil. It's made with 5 seeds, and sometimes with mustard oil you can light and so on. On Saturdays, especially mustard oil and things like that. But puja, very auspicious to light ghee with ghee, Okay. I can't, if you're blowing a shank as a woman and you're doing it, I can't tell you not to. I'm just telling you how it is. Mahakali has her tongue out of her mouth. So Mahakali has her tongue out of her mouth because when Mahakali fought Rakta Bij, when she consumed the blood, because Rakta Bij, his blood was, if 1 drop of his blood fell on the ground, 1,000 other Rakta Bij would be born. So when Mahakali was fighting him, the blood was splattering and more thousands were born. So she got a bowl and she caught the blood, but the blood was running over and she consumed it. Not because she does that, but because if she didn't, Rakta Bij would not die. And the blood was so poisonous that, she became very, very dark and she started to dance, Kali Tandav. And when she began to dance, the world was shaking. And everyone went to Shivji and says, only you can make her stop. So Shivji went and he was playing dead on the battlefield. And when Mahakali put her right foot on his chest, she realized that that was something wrong to do because, we can't put our foot or jump, stuff like that. It's disrespectful. So when she realized, her tongue came out. When something happened, a lot of people bite their tongue or they make a face. So the tongue came out as a mistake, as an indication of a mistake. It is not because of anything else. So it's a good question. Pull down this indoor. That's a good question, Auntie Leela. So this question here, my sister whose husband has passed away would like to know is it necessarily to pull down this indoor? Plain and simple answer to that, no. And is it necessary? Well, let's look at it this way. There are 2 things about it. Is it written that you have to? No, it's not. There is no mantra that a Panditji can read to pull down a sindoor. There is no mantra like that to pull down a sindoor. Because if a dead person can pull down sindoor, it means that that person can put up sindoor as well. So this tradition came from somewhere because someone felt that if the wife lives on with the sindoor, it means she's married. Well, the sindoor is not the only thing. The sindoor is not the only thing which constitutes a marriage or make you a wife. Right? There's many other things that went on. Mandapam madhuparkam cha laja homa parikrama. The Vivaha Paditi tells us. Mandapam madhuparkam cha laja homa parikrama. There's so many things you did to get married. You build a mandap, you did madhupark, laja homa, you go around the fire, parikrama, and so on. And then sindoor is put on. So sindoor is the last thing that is put on, right? So if the sindoor has to come down, it means you got to take back the lava and everything else. So no, you don't have to do that. However, I have done so many funerals where the family desires to do that because it makes them happy. And I'd say, listen, it is not necessary, but if you want to do it for peace of mind, then why not? You do it and you have peace of mind. It doesn't have any effect in your life though. It brings peace of mind to people. So the answer to that is not necessary. If someone passed away, can you make prasad offering? After 13 days, you can do prasad offering, of course, yes. If you light a diya every day, do you have to change the wick every day or can you clip it? You can clip it, of course. Not necessarily, you don't have to change the wick every day, depending on the condition of your diya, of course. Let's see here, any other questions? Let's see here. Can you light, I see a candle there. Oh yeah, can you light a candle instead of a diya? If you are referring to worship, you should light a diya for puja. It has more benefits, and it is our tradition. And as I mentioned, the importance of ghee and deepam oil and all that to light your diya. So candle is more of a Western tradition and not ours. But you can light a candle for light, of course. Yeah. I light a diya every day. I use deepam oil or ghee. Absolutely. Very important for our altar to have a light. Of course, you must be safe when you do that. What's the difference between a sannyasi and a swami? Both of them can be the same thing. A swami should be a sannyasi, right? A swami should be a sannyasi. But sannyasi means one who have, sannyasi in the sense of the meaning, it means one who have given up. So, you can be a married person, be a sannyasi as well, right? You can be a married, I've met so many persons who are sannyasis and they are married and they have things. It means that you have, but it doesn't own you. You have wealth, you have material things, but it doesn't own you. It means you are completely detached from them. If you lose a pen, you've lost it. So what? So sannyasi is more of a, as a life practice, it is more of a lifestyle than a name. Right? It is more of a lifestyle than a name when you're a sannyasi. In the traditional sense, a sannyasi is usually a swami in our terms of discussion. So, yeah, that explains it. Let's see here. Diane Ramdihal or Pandit told us sesame oil is good for lighting diya. Please explain. Thank you. So sesame oil is good not for doing pujas and things. Like if you're doing Shivji puja, Hanumanji puja and things like that. Of course, sesame oil will give you light, but what comes out of that light? It's a very dark soot that comes out of it. That is good for Shraddha, and so if you're doing Shraddha ceremonies. Or on Amavasya, somebody mentioned Amavasya before. So Amavasya is 2 weeks after full moon. The next full moon is July 4th, which is a very powerful one in the year, Guru Purnima. 2 weeks after that is Amavasya. On Amavasya day, it is auspicious to light a diya with sesame oil for the ancestors. Bianca Prasad. Panaji, if a husband died, can a woman married or put back sindoor? I have explained this earlier. This is more of a, now it is more of a social, women rights these days, we have to be very careful how we talk about it. Because how do you tell a woman your husband has died, you can't put back sindoor? You're suppressing women's growth and you're suppressing women's behavior. right? And then what happened to the man? The wife died. Can he marry back? Well, why can he marry back and why can't the woman marry back, right? So my answer to that is, you know, there is, if you're a young girl and there's so much of life ahead for you, I would not have any issues with you getting a life back. But then there are those who have died and later on in the age and so on, they've decided that that is life and we're going to go on. So it depends on what the circumstances are for sure. Let's see here, Krishni. Why is it not well known or spoken of that Lord Shiva and Parvati Ma have a daughter? I don't know why it's not well spoken of. I can't say why it's not well spoken of. It is talked about sometimes, but I think prominent Ganpati and Kartikeya, they are more prominent than the experience with the daughter. In Ramayana as well, Dashrath had a daughter, by the way, that was given to his friend Rompad. He had a daughter first, and those who know not Tulsidas Ramayana, other Ramayans have talked about it. He gave that daughter to his friend Rompad. And so, yes, it's not spoken of a lot. Let's see who else here. Oh, Jashoda Naresh, you're from Essequibo. Great. Yeah, we can take a few more questions. We're going to wrap up at 8:30 with final Hanumanji Chalisa. But I think it's good to be an educated Hindu. When I say educated, I don't mean a scholar or a person who is versed in the scriptures or know everything. I think I'm telling our youngsters, because I ask young people a lot, why don't you come to Mandir? Right? You look at the people who come to Mandir. Our temple has a lot of young people, no doubt about that. Kids, all ages and all that. We have a lot of young people. But you ask a lot of young people, why don't you come to the temple? And what is behind their mind is that it is such a complex tradition. It is so complex, it is so difficult. It is so difficult, and that they can't understand it, right? Vida, can you offer Lord Shiva Dhar in your daughter's name while she is away in college? Of course you can offer. You can offer Dhar to Lord Shiva in anybody's name. But your daughter can offer Dhar as well for herself. There's nothing wrong. You can take little Gangeshwar here. I think all of you know this little, my favorite master. This is my Gangeshwar. He was consecrated on the bank of the Ganga. And it's a Spatik Lingam, by the way. Spatik Lingam, it's great for purity of mind and all that. So he was consecrated, he was made live on the bank of the Ganga. And I brought him home, and then in January, I did 54 consecutive mornings of Shiva Sahasranam at the temple. You remember that time? I did not cook food for 54 days. So every morning, Dhar was thrown on him, and so he's fully energized, and he is my buddy. There isn't a place I wouldn't go without Gangeshwar. So his name is Gangeshwar, by the way, because he was consecrated on the Ganga, and he belonged to her that Eshwar. So he's Gangeshwar. I love you. So your daughter can take a little lingam, of course, to college and offer Dhar on him as well. We got to be proud of our very rich tradition. So of course you can. Let me see what we've missed here. There we go. Thank you. Glad I can. Does a yogi know when death is near? They can know. A yogi, if they are involved in certain practices. There are many yogis in the past who predicted when they are going to die. As a matter of fact, there are many yogis, Adi Shankaracharya, for example. These men did not die. They don't die. They leave the body. They leave the body like that. Many, many yogis, even who are deep into the practice, they don't die. They leave their body. So they do know, and they leave the body. Tameshwar Arjun, there's a lot of prayers you can say for your ancestors. There is no one you can say, any prayer you know for your ancestors. What is important is your connection, your emotional connection. I always tell people when you're praying by yourself, use the simplest of prayer that you know, but ensure you're not focusing on the prayer, you're focusing on the connection you're making with your ancestors. So lots of them you can say. There's no one, of course. Why Brahmin don't eat at the wake house till 13 days? The wake house is considered impure because of all the activities going on. And the Brahmins usually preserve a certain level of purity. And such at the wake house, they don't eat. Yeah. Panditji, my husband Mamu passed away. Can we do puja before one? Your husband Mamu. Your husband Mamu. So that means your husband. Yes, you can do puja within 1 year. This puja, you know, when someone passes away, you have to look at a lot of things. If you don't want to do puja in the 1 year, you have to stop doing everything as well. You cannot go to any party. You cannot go to any wedding. You cannot go to any reception. You cannot celebrate New Year. You can't celebrate Christmas. You can't do barbecue. You can't do a family over, because a puja is equivalent to a celebration. A puja is a celebration. That's what it is. In my view, a puja that's the most appropriate time to do puja, because you're praying for their upliftment. But puja is usually refrained from if it is somebody close for you. Like if my mother passed away, my father passed away, my brother passed away or so. My sister, she's gone to a different kul. But if out of respect, if someone close passes away, I will not do, for the year, I will do certain pujas or certain rites to ensure that their soul have a safe passage. I will do satsang, of course, for their upliftment. But if it gets beyond that, like your mamu, husband mamu, and thing that, no, you're good. You're good to go. Pandit, my family of 4 sit and perform Hanumanji puja. Can I raise one flag, or do I have to raise more than one? You can raise more than one flag. There's no problem. You can raise one as well. Is it good to pray on Pitri Paksh? I do pray, but lots of people don't. So it is good to pray on Pitri Paksh. God is not on vacation on Pitri Paksh. The God is still available. Pitri Paksh, as a matter of fact, is when you should pray a lot, because you know, our ancestors, Pitri Devo Bhava, they have become Devatas, right? So on Pitri Paksh, there's nothing wrong in praying. You don't do jhandi, like puja and things like that we do at, you know, big satsang and that. You tone down life a little bit, and you allow your prayers to actually rise to the level of your Pitris. So yes, you can pray. Antilila, Panditji, tradition or the older generation say that we do not bring home the utensils used for the funeral. What is your take on this? So here's my take on this. So for funeral ceremonies, actually for funeral and for Shraddh, your utensils are different than that used for regular pujas. Funerals especially, because you know, you're dealing with corpse, you're dealing with a corpse, you're dealing with a place where there is sorrows, you're dealing, you know, in a utensil where tarpana is done and so on, you know, and there's flowers offering to a corpse, really. Although it's your beloved one, it is, you know, all sorts of things around there. So it is a shubh, it is inauspicious to use that for puja. So everybody that I do these things for, I tell them, your Shraddh activities must have a different set of utensils. Your thali, your lota and so on, and your puja activities must use a different set of utensils. The same that we do in our kitchen and otherwise. So, very good question. We talked about, Bianca, we talked about the married part already. Let me see what other questions we have here. Yeah, Dali's saying no barbecue. If you can't do puja, you can't do barbecue. I'm very, very strong about those things. If somebody there and you can't do puja, it means you can't do Christmas, you can't do New Year, you can't go wedding, you can't do barbecue. Jasoda Dhanraj, can 3 people sit to do puja? As many persons as possible can sit for puja, yes. Yes. Thank you, Vidyan Ganesh, for comments. Is it true that if a woman isn't married, she can't eat Mother Durga Parsad? No, that's not true. Or usually because it has sindoor on it. So, my people, please do not ever put sindoor on prasad. I would like to ask you of that. Please do not ever put sindoor on prasad. Sindoor is dirty to do that, to put sindoor on prasad. Sindoor is made to go on the head of the deity or on the head of married woman. Kumkum is worn by men and women as well. There's a difference between kumkum and sindoor, by the way. I hope you know that. Right? The male deities do not wear sindoor, except Hanumanji, because he's Ram Dular. So anyway, that's a whole different thing. You know how he wore sindoor. He saw Mata Sita wearing it, and he splashed it on his body because he called Mata Sita Kanjus. Anyways, male deities wear the kumkum, female deities wear the sindoor. Even Shivji Bhagwan wear kumkum chandan. Kumkum chandana lepitalingam. So don't ever put sindoor on puri and prasad and so for Mata Durga. So your question, Kavita, if you're unmarried, prasadam is not limited to married and unmarried people. That is, I know how that is, and I grew up like that. I can tell you. We were not even allowed to drink the water coconut. But when the Panerji gone away, when the people gone away, we used to collect 2, 3 like this and run away with them like this and right? I'm a devotee of Durga, so that prasad belongs to me. So good question. It's still out there, I think. Do we come to Mandir during Pitru Paksh? I hope you do, because you should. BJ and Bina, when a close family member passes, father, mother, etc., is it necessary to do monthly pinda offering? If it is, please explain the importance of doing it. It's a very good question. It's a very, very good question. So this is called Masik Pinda, right? When a person passes, you do 16 pinda, 10 pindas on 10, well, let me start. 6 pindas on the funeral, 10 pindas on 10 day, and 16 pindas on Dwadashi. After that, there is what we call Masik Pindas. So on a nakshatra, on the very planet that the person cremated on that very planet that the person cremated on, when that planet occurs in the next month, one pinda is done. And that's because the soul ascends to a different realm, they say the 16 cities in Garud Puran, right? Duk Bhavanpur and all these places they go to, monitored by different Vishnu, Shiva, Rudra, and all of them. So when that planet occurs in the next month, one pinda is done to satisfy the soul's entry. And then it goes on. That is why usually in 1 month, the nakshatra appears twice, the planet appears twice in that month. And for that reason, the Shraddha is usually done in the 11th month, just before 12 comes by. It's very important to do the monthly pinda, but you have to have a commitment to do it. And the reason for doing it, because of the entry of the soul into different parts, into different cities, it satiates the hunger of the soul, and of course gives it a safe passage. This is Garud Puran story, so good question. What happens if you use the same kund for the Shraddha and the Gita? Nothing happens if you use the same kund for the Shraddha and the Gita. You just have to, if you're talking about funeral, that's different. The Havan Kund at the funeral, of course, is it's not auspicious because of what we're doing there. But Shraddha at your home, like 10-day Shraddha and so, there's nothing wrong with using the same Havan Kund. We're getting to 8:30, so we'll take a couple more and then we do, what do we do? Let me see. Let me just take a look. What do we do with the utensils after a funeral? You can wash them and bring them home. The funeral home, that right now actually they provide utensils and so you can do that as well. Okay, so that's the end of the questions for tonight. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you all very much for sending these beautiful questions. I hope that you actually learned something from the process. And, don't be afraid to practice Hinduism. Sometimes the best way to do things is to make a mistake, and then, somebody will correct you nicely. And now that you know stuff and all that, I know many of you are learning, correct people nicely, because if you slap them on their hand, or if you, tell them in an appropriate way, then, they may be afraid and not be able to practice their traditions and so again. So, anytime you have a question, just let me know. I'm here to help, and that's what I'm here for, to help, and that's all. So, God bless all of you. We will do our final Hanumanji Chalisa tonight, and then we will see all of you tomorrow morning. I'm inviting you to come out to the temple to sing with us, to chant with us at our Sunday morning service, because temple is open, it is safe, the world is open, Brampton is open, by the way. Please practice safety when you go out, if you're going to a shop or a store, so please wear a mask and gloves if you can, and stay well, because COVID has not gone far as yet. Let us chant. I know some of you really benefit from this question and answer session, so we will do this, like this sometimes, but we'll do as much as we can to keep you involved and engaged in the process. And don't wait for a session like this. If you have a question, just send me a text, and when I get time, of course, I'll respond to you. So stay well, everyone, and let's do Hanumanji Chalisa. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raja Nij Man Mukur Sudhar Barlo Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jodayak Balchar Buddhihin Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavan Kumar Bal Buddhi Vidya Dev Mohi Haraho Kalesh Vikar Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar Jai Kapish Dinu Loka Ujagar Ram
अंजलि पुत्र पवन सुतराम महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमंत निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुवेश कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा हाथ भद्र और ध्वजा विराज कान्हे मूर जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित सुनिबे को रस राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारा रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम प्रिया भरत संभाए सहस बदन तुम रोय श्रृंगार अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीस नारद सारद सहित अहिसा यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही राम मिलाए राजपद दीना तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण मार लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु दीनो ताहि मधुर पर जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मिलि मुख मान जगति लांघि के अचरज नाई दुर्गम काज जगत के जगमय दुर्ग तुमरे राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे सब सकल है तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहो को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे तीनों लोक हाथ में कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम
संकट हरण मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय में बसहु सुर भूप। सियाभज रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। प्रेम से बोलो भवानी शंकर भगवान की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियाभज रामचंद्र की जय, राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। सब कोई जय जय सीताराम। सीताराम, जय श्री कृष्ण, नमस्ते to all of you. And please, again, as you know, we have actually at the temple on July 1st, inviting all of you to come out. And all I'm asking you for my dakshina is, over the last 100 days, if you think it was worth it, just give $1 a day for what you have received. And please send me a text that you would like to donate $100 for our July 1st event. Our temple will be very, very appreciative of your donation. I know a lot of you have not yet sent me a text. That's all you have to do now, send me a text, and later on you can send the money after Monday. So looking forward for your generosity in this event, and looking forward to seeing you there as well with your car. Come on out in the parking lot and let's have some fun for 2 hours. Jai Sitaram, everyone, and God bless all of you. I will see all of you tomorrow. We will be online, of course, in the morning, 9:30 at the temple for service. Please come on out, bring your prasad, bring your flowers, bring your dakshina, bring yourself. Temple is open. I would like to see you there. For those of you who are in a good health state, to be there. There are still some people who are, seniors, and they have risk factors or so, but there are some strong seniors, and there are some people with some pre-existing conditions. They cannot come, so we would love to see you. Please come on out. If you're doing groceries, you can pray. Remember that. God bless all of you. Have a blessed night. And Deva, enjoy your birthday. And spend time with family and friends. God bless always. Jai Sitaram.